Welcome to Chanakya, where you get the right guidance at the right time. Today we have with us two experts, Srini and Vishu, with whom we will explore a situation. We have a situation from Joseph, who is a project manager, and this is a situation I have encountered with many times. Joseph is a project manager with a system integrator for a large project for a new customer. The project Neptune has to be delivered in 4 phases. It was in UAT when Joseph approached me. The UAT was going well, the team had done due diligence to the quality of the deliverable, but there were some concerns from the customer. 7 reports were expected to be done on priority. These reports were part of the decision support system, which was spelled out in the scope, but somehow the team had missed it. The display on the screens was not having the correct background. The background was not found suitable for people to read the information, so that required changes. If the team was able to take care of these 2 things, they were okay with the first phase. But in the upcoming phase, they had to build a interface to the downstream system, and the customer could test the system only by looking at the information in the downstream system. Joseph was a bit concerned. He was worried that all of this would increase the scope of the work. His team was already overloaded and the costs were almost reaching to overrun. So, Srini and Vishu, any thoughts on what would you advise to Joseph?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting situation. I think it comes up quite frequently in many organizations as well. The 3 points that you described, I see a common pattern is about a scope change. So, especially in projects where it's a contractually managed fixed price, fixed scope kind of a situations, it's very essential to engage the delivery team or key representatives from the delivery team in the early stages of the project to validate requirements, to validate the feasibility and to size the project appropriately, etc. Maybe in the current situation, Joseph can actually bring the delivery team together, the developers, testers, architects, designers, etc., and look at what is the upcoming milestones, what are the risks involved, also what clarifications are required on the requirements, so that there is a common understanding of the remaining scope of the project and avoid or reduce the misunderstanding and the conflicts that could come up.
Thank you, Vishu. Srini, what about managing the risks in scope management?
First of all, I agree with what you said, Vishu. I would add a little emphasis to looking and surfacing the implicit assumptions and dependencies, right? Coming back to managing risks, few ideas. One is the team could use a process flow mapping technique. The next thing is they could look at the data source, they could look at the data sinks, they could look at the messaging interface to ensure that there is completeness and comprehensiveness of this. The other thing is they could actually observe the users in their work environment. All of this can then help them and provide pointers to clarify the scope better, right? But most important in all these projects is ensure that you document all of this. Should there be a need for discussion in the future for scope creep, you have them available, right? In addition to this, there's one other thing I would suggest Vasu should be looked at, that is acceptance criteria.
Thank you, Srini. Your views are very comprehensive. Vishu, any thoughts on managing the acceptance criteria as part of scope management?
Absolutely. I think that's a very important point. It's like begin with an end in mind. So, at the end, how things would be accepted, because that could conclude the or closure of what is expected out of these projects. So, there are some good practices. For example, in Agile, people use INVEST criteria to look at the goodness of requirements and completeness of requirements. Especially the 2 parameters in the INVEST criteria, the independent and testable, could be very useful to define the acceptance criteria in a more comprehensive way. For example, in Joseph's situation, there is an expectation on integrating with the downstream systems and validating the output after looking at display from the downstream systems. That could become not so independent, then it becomes a coupled requirement, which becomes a scope creep for this organization. especially if the downstream systems are managed by some other organization, it becomes even more complex. So, for example, if they agree and saying that we will look at this through a simulated stubs instead of tying it to another organization's application. So, we can create a little bit more independent nature of the requirements. Similarly, testability has to be looked at upfront. How would the user acceptance testing would happen? So, that could help to scope the requirements in a much better way.
Thank you, Vishu. Srini, any thoughts?
I like the way Vishu got the invest from agile to the such classic waterfall method, right? I would just narrate a story to buttress what you said, Vishu. Once I had a team which was in a similar type of project like what Joseph is facing today, right? The team was heading towards the acceptance and the customer was reluctant to sign off the project. Not because of the team, but he was concerned about the downstream vendor. The good thing is the team had established a good rapport with the customer and they had transparently communicated all along. So they went and explained to the customer and convinced him about the fact the customer could actually accept this independently, right? Because they had adhered to all the interface specifications and look at the integration later.
Good example of making independent.
Right. The customer was convinced and he gave a deemed acceptance and held back a part of the revenue till he had the final full acceptance. The good thing was the team had paid complete attention to the acceptance criteria. So the final acceptance went off flawlessly and the delivery was accepted.
Thank you, Srini and Vishu. I am sure project managers like Joseph would find this very useful. To summarize, being specific in the scope of work is an absolute must to delimit the work. The acceptance criteria or the project success criteria should be defined upfront. Validating the business requirements, keeping in mind the downstream systems is also a good practice. As Vishu mentioned, applying concepts like invest from agile may also be useful in some situations. Lastly, it is very important to establish a good communication channel and if possible include the end users also in this so that the project progress is transparent throughout the life cycle of the project. Vishu and Srini, would you like to add any other points?
You did it well.
That's fine. Perfect.
Thanks Vishu and Srini once again. I am sure managers like Joseph will find these experiential insights very useful for them. Thank you.